Hello, this is Bertram from Renown Talent, and yeah, welcome to the Renown Career Report. Try to do this every Monday, and this is just more of the up-to-date things as to what's going on within Renown Talent. So some of the openings that we're covering, some of the updates or recruiting staffing updates to the positions that we have been working on, as well as what we may have coming up in the future. If you can, and if you do happen to see us online, feel free to say hi. Let me know if you can for sure hear me or if we're having any audio issues. But I think we should be good to go. But yeah, last week I'm not sure if you were able to attend or see that one on the roundup. It was a fantastic time with Soniel. I also posted a couple videos of some really keys and some gems on there. I mean, it's just like crazy and ridiculous, applying to over 80 positions, and for her to have some challenges, then to finally actually getting hired into something that would future become her subject matter expertise. So I know there are a lot of rumblings within our space. I know there have been some layoffs as of recent, but all I could really hope and pray for each and every one of you that have been affected by those is that you do truly find your calling and your purpose. I myself have tried for over 3.5 years to find a recruiting position. I even had a former manager tell me straight to my face, Bertram, you will not be a recruiter, right? Talk about squash or try to step on someone's dreams. But it's interesting, and I learned through that experience, just because you see it, right? Or the higher power, the man upstairs, right, might see it for you, doesn't mean that your parents are going to see it for you. It doesn't mean that your brother or sister, your loved ones are going to see it for you. You really have to see it to yourself. Because you know what? If it was a dream meant for them, then the higher powers are giving it to them, right? But just as we can always tell, and as it's written in scripture, even the dreams sent by the higher powers are only meant to be interpreted by certain people within our history, right? So what does that mean, Bertram? Follow your dream, follow your passion, and instead of looking at this, let's say a recent layoff, right, as something that has affected you in a negative direction, think about it as redirection, right? Hey, Bertram, if I stayed working, let's say that HCC coding position, maybe I would have been a HCC person forever, right? But you might find and stretch yourself, maybe learning some new specialties, get some new credentials, and find something new and exciting. So just keep on pushing. It's as my wife and I, we like to always comment to each other, remember that it's a marathon. It's really about the winner is usually the person that is able to outlast the other runners, right? My son was playing soccer on Friday, and he was drenched in sweat. The game, they play these little games, right? He's only 6 years old, but the game was almost over. But he had that last win, and he was able to take the ball and score like one of the last goals for his team. And I'm like, look at you, buddy. And I always try to encourage him to finish strong. So for each and every one of you, and I know being laid off, and I've been laid off a few times myself, I know it's very disheartening, right? I know it's very discouraging. But what I can encourage you to do and try to encourage you to do is to keep on going, right? If you don't have a job right now, your new job is to find your next job. So beyond LinkedIn, network as much as possible. Try your best to expand your network and just be out there and serve the community instead of just asking for stuff, and just realize or just see how fast something comes to you. It's almost like, was there anything that you were looking for, let's say in the grocery store, at your warehouse chain, or just out and you couldn't find it, right? Or even let's say it was a car. And as soon as you stopped looking for it, what happened? Boom, it is right there. I remember I went to Japan, and I'm a big fan of a car called the Nissan GTR, right? $100,000 car. It's pretty fast. It's a rival to like Ferraris and stuff, but it doesn't really cost as much as a Ferrari. And I'm just like an old school like junkie when it comes to those kinds of cars. And I'm in Japan, in Tokyo, and I cannot find this car. I did not see it. I was actually I happened to stumble upon the Nissan showroom, but where they had one, right? But I didn't see it in the streets. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm an American. I see this car, every once in a while, and I can't understand why I'm in Japan, the birthplace of this car, and I cannot find it. And you know what I did? I was just walking to the Tokyo Tower. I couldn't find like a bus or a train to get there, so I had to walk from my last train stop to get there. And I'm looking, and I'm taking a picture of the Tokyo Tower, and guess what happens, ladies and gentlemen? The Nissan GTR pulls up right in front of the Tokyo Tower, so I get a picture of the Nissan GTR in front of the Tokyo Tower. Sometimes, and a lot of times, when you're not looking for something is when you stumble upon something, right? So I would definitely recommend for a lot of you, because this is one of the most underrated strategies to getting hired within our marketplace right now that not enough people are utilizing. It is to attend your local association, AAPC, or let's say that might be AHIMA, whichever association you're a part of, and volunteering, taking part, taking notes, right? Just asking your chapter members, like, hey, how can I help? I want to volunteer. I want to help. I heard from Bertram, Mr. B, that I should help. I should participate more. And I'm telling you, the networking opportunities in those is crazy. One of the contacts that I know at the highest level, this person is in charge of 12 hospitals, the largest employer in Florida. I met her at one of these meetings, and she was just there in the audience. And can you imagine, if you're looking for a job, they can hire from Florida, and you go out and you put yourself out there, and they happen to know that, hey, you just got recent layoff, and they happen to have an opening with your subject matter expertise or your experience. A lot of that comes from networking and just volunteering and putting yourself out there. So I can go on that tangent forever, right? I didn't mean to speak on that so long, talk about Tokyo and all of that stuff, but it is possible. So just see it for yourself. Your new job is for you to keep on applying and getting out there. So we have Debbie. Hey, Debbie, it's really nice to connect with you. Debbie and I connected years ago when I first got started within recruiting. I remember you, Debbie, you wanted some help and assistance. And it's the exact same thing I told her. I said, Debbie, you know what you should probably do? You should probably go to one of these chapter meetings. And this was back before COVID, way back when. And I said, why don't you just like go to a meeting and like offer the host or the person running the meeting if you can bring donuts and coffee, and have copies of your resume, and just introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm Debbie. I brought donuts or coffee, and if anyone would like some, here you go. It's totally on me. Would love to meet with you. I'm also interested in looking for an opportunity. Would you believe Debbie did it? And Debbie got the job. And she's still working within coding today. So Debbie and I connect from every now and again. And that was unsolicited. I probably shouldn't have been giving her that advice, but meaning I probably would have gotten in trouble with my employer. But no, if I see somebody that needs something, or somebody that's really trying for themselves, like, why shouldn't I be able to help that person? But a lot of companies frown upon us as recruiters and executives doing that. So I'm glad I have my own agency, because I guess the only person that can get me in trouble right now is my staff if they don't like what I'm doing. So we'll see how that goes, right? Jennifer, I see you. Good morning. Good morning. It's nice to see you. Yida, I see you as well. Hi, Christy. Thank you for connecting with me as of recent. And Debbie, as Debbie says, it works. So being involved and providing value and seeing how you can help out your network definitely helps. John, the medical coding cheerleader, it's nice to see you. Exactly. And we are actually, this is the perfect time to introduce this, right? So John, if you're still on, please put the comment down. John and I are going to be on a panel, a discussion tonight. I believe it's around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we're going to be talking about how new graduates and those people that are looking for opportunities can get hired. And that is taking place tonight, the 29th, at 7 p.m. So John, if you can, and if you're still online, if you can share the link, or if he doesn't happen to share it, what I'll do before I sign off and go do something else, a very busy Monday for all of us, I'm sure, I'm going to go ahead and share that link. So if you're seeing this, just look for that link. Either myself or John are going to post it, and we're going to have that tonight. That is from his streams that he does. It's on evenings on Mondays. I believe it is 7 p.m. Eastern. That's supposed to take place tonight, where you should be able to utilize some strategies and get hired. So I love John for everything that he's doing, because just as myself, like, he's at a level he probably doesn't really need to do that, but if we see that there's a place that, like, there's a gap in the marketplace, we want to be able to help and provide. So it's the coding cheerleader sessions, right? And he did post the link. So John, you are a rock star. Thank you so much for posting that. And what good timing, right, for us to come together and collaborate to see how we can help. So I'm not going to be the only panelist there. There are going to be some other panelists there as well. If you don't like the way that I pitch it, maybe John or somebody else can pitch it for you that you can understand. But it's all about us helping out each other, because that's where we're at these levels. Okay, fantastic. Once again, Welcome. My name is Bertram Lansico. We may be a recent connection. I've been involved in the H&M industry for close to 15 years. I wanted to be a recruiter for 3.5 years prior. I got hired within coding, and I just love revenue cycle and coding and everything that coding is about. Compliance, doing the right thing. And yeah, here we are today. What did I want to say? So today we're going to be talking about some new jobs and opportunities that we have. And as a little disclaimer, not all of the comments that are commented I've seen in the past come through. So you may have saying hi, you may say, hey, I'm in, I don't know, Florida and it's 75 degrees, 60 degrees, whatever. I don't always see those comments through the streaming platform that we use. So if I missed your comments or something like that, I may have to go to LinkedIn and see if I can make sure I didn't miss anything, but I'm not trying to ignore you. Okay. So, thank you for those who have been able to comment and those comments to come through. I also know that some of these live streams can be on your wall or your feed. You do not want it to be on your feed. You want to actually click in and go into the event and attend it live if you can. I know some of you might even be seeing this in between the times you're supposed to be working or coding or doing something in the revenue cycle. That's perfectly fine. I appreciate you each and any time. And also, nice thing about these is that they're recorded. So if you can't watch the whole thing, feel free to pause where you're at or come back a little bit later. And then you can actually skip through to the parts that you want to see or that you missed, YouTube style, I would say. These are also on our YouTube channel. That's under Renown CEO. I just have it under my brand because it's just the easiest place to do it. And I didn't want to have postings, let's say, for Renown Talent as well as my brand. So I'm just going to put them all in Renown Talent for now. We have a small following, but if you can subscribe, we would definitely appreciate you. So John, yes, again, he did share the link. And Chrissy said, John, that she always wants to attend your events as well. So she'll do a 2-for-1 right there with both of us on there, as well as a few other panelists. And Jennifer says, thank you, John, as I thank you as well. All right. So let's get into the career report. All right, so recent positions, we've had the coding director and the physician coders with the ED, that's been filled. New positions that we're working on right now, we have the hospital-based outpatient same-day surgery coder. All right, this is on the hospital or facility side. This is not profi coding, all right? But if you have that experience, we would love to talk to you. That's a full-time position with benefits. Recent positions have also been the physician coder. We have somebody under consideration. The client has been quiet. So I am trying to, how can I say, confirm some details as to what they need or what they're missing. But we have had that position. It is not officially closed or covered just yet. We do have somebody that is under consideration by the client. We're just trying to work out some things. There's a lot that I have learned. For example, we can't just have somebody for a hospital and the hospital can just use them, right? We got to go through a whole contracting thing. We have to go through agreements. We got to go through HIPAA. We got to go through IT access. They got to get trained. They got to get special credentials. We have to go through all of these things. And usually, if you've been involved in coding, one of the reasons why they have these delays in you starting is because of all of those steps that they have to go through. So we're in the middle of those steps, but when we first got in contact with the client, they said that, Bertram, we can use this position today. With radiation oncology, for some reason right now in our space, revenue cycle and coding, there are not a lot of folks that are either open or looking to move into new positions. So it's a very big hurt. I even had a fellow recruiter friend of mine said, hey, Bertram, if you find a few, send me a couple. I only need a couple, So if you have more than you need, depending on your reach, Bertram, send me a few. So that also tells me that there's a big need right now. So, for those that are currently looking for opportunities and may have some of that experience, reach out to me or look at some other companies that happen to need that experience, okay? And for the inpatient coder position, we have that covered, meaning we have a couple hires that we're bringing on board right now to start hopefully next week, as well as we have a couple other backups just in play. Backups, and I would say that honestly because these candidates connect with me. They're like, yeah, Bertram, we'll see what happens. I'll take the test. And, I kind of got the feeling like they were interested, but maybe not as interested as originally we connected. We do know that some companies are offering very big sign-on bonuses, but we are not phased by the shiny ball syndrome, right? We are all about career growth within the company, also for each of our hires to be better individuals. So when they leave us, they can say, hey, when I work for Renown and their team, we got this, we got this training. There's so much that we're looking to do, but I have to be very close-lipped on that for now, but it is coming, okay? Fantastic. Candice also says good morning. Hello, Candice. And Pam, I'm looking forward to meeting you this evening. So Pam, I believe you will also be on the cheerleader panel discussion tonight that we're going to be having about those newly credentialed, the apprentices and strategies that they can implement to get hired. And that's going to be taking place tonight at 7. So John Pawlowski did post the event a little bit earlier. So go scroll through the chat, go there and click attend and get that reminder. And it's nice for him to have it during the evening. That way, if you are able to step away from your family, your responsibilities, or just listen in while you're doing stuff, that's fantastic because that doesn't have to affect your work. Unlike the roundhouse Bertram has in the middle of the day on Wednesdays, right? But that's okay. That's okay. I think we have a pretty good turnout nevertheless. Cool. So to jump into more information about or the requirements for the outpatient coder position, so we're looking for you to have at least 3 years of facility, hospital, outpatient coding experience. This is not pro fee, right? And this is not a physician coder doing coding for the hospital or for hospitalists. We're talking about facility or hospital outpatient coding, same-day surgery experience. We're not asking for this person to do EDs at this time, but if you have that same-day surgery plus ED, that's fantastic. If this person has same-day surgery plus ED, plus injection infusions, we would really appreciate it. But you know what? We're only asking for the outpatient as well as the same-day surgery experience. That's it. You're going to need a current and full AHIMA or AAPC credential, and this is a full-time remote position. We can hire from anywhere within the U.S., and we cannot accept apprentices at this time for this opportunity. The client is holding us to if they're going to be able to pay this amount, we have to be able to give them a level of service at this amount. We're looking for clients and for hospitals that may be more flexible on that requirement, right? Even if it means a lower pay rate overall, if we are able to expand those opportunities, but we're not there just yet. So I'm working on it. We're trying to see, my team and I, we're trying to see everything that we can do, right, to allow some cross-training and some development to happen, also provide those savings to the clients, but we need the clients. So once we grow to scale and once we have these clients, I'm telling you, we're going to be shaking up a lot of things. Like the companies you see right now, I'd say on your feed, probably half of them, right? I'll tell you quite honestly, because I've heard from their staff, it's all show, right? There's a company, I won't say that company's name. Last year, they were all the rave. Hey, come work for us and you'll just work anytime you want. And the coding is always there. And we're just flexible with your schedule. And if you want to work 3-4 jobs, it's all good. And they're nowhere to be seen today. So we do not want to be the shiny ball. We are going to have some attraction. We are going to make some movement in the space, but it's only going to be for the right reasons and with us retaining and keeping business the best way. So there are many cycles that happen within hiring and within our space, and we're in a very big cycle right now. I believe really, I think it's coming down to hopefully come up sometime during this year, and when that's going to happen at any time. But you know what? We're growing during the darkest times. So I mean, if that happens when the light shines, what's going to happen? It should grow even more, right? And we have pretty good benefits. I'm not going to say we have the fantastic or the best benefits. I'll be very honest with you, but we have pretty good benefits. And for those that we're working with, they don't happen to need some of the benefits that we're able to provide. So that's awesome, but a lot more investment and a lot more detail on that for those qualified candidates. Okay, so that's for the outpatient same-day surgery coding position. And I'm just putting this up there because we've had it. So if you happen to have this experience, feel free to reach out. So radiation oncology physician or profi coder, at least 3 years of experience, current AHIMA or APC credential. And you definitely are going to, from requirement from the client, the radiation oncology experience. Okay. And full-time remote, and grow with us on the job training for auditing, management, and all of those things after we can make sure you have been consistently at your highest level of subject matter expertise in the positions that you are hired in. Okay, fantastic. So if you're interested or if you're a qualified candidate, you want to learn more, feel free to apply to our open positions on renowntalent.com/careers. Email us your resume at info@renowntalent.com, or just message me directly. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a whole hoopla and do this and smoke signal. Just reach out to me. Hey, Bert, you might have this experience. I'm interested. We'll talk. I may even request a copy of your resume in the LinkedIn chat, right? Let's just let's get connected. Let's see what we're dealing with. And then if you're really qualified and interested, we'll have a conversation, get you tested, and get you lined up for the position. So we move very fast here, and it It's really all dependent on how fast that you can move. Okay. All right. So our next roundup is this coming up Wednesday. And if you haven't seen the roundups, you have to see them. I mean, wow, all the gems that were shared last week, and I have even like posted all of the gems because I really can't. I mean, we're talking about 45-minute conversation. I'm trying to reduce down to like maybe 4 or so 1-minute segments. But all the gems is just like you just have to be a part of it and just experience it while it's happening and unfolding. And I try my best to pause and reflect to show the audience what they might have missed. But I'm telling you, folks like Pam, John, myself, Betty is also out there all the time. Victoria, she's out, I think, on vacation right now. But some of us that are able to like really dive in, I'm telling you, like once you realize the struggle that a lot of the subject matter experts and people that are performing at the highest levels are doing right now, you just can't believe it. I didn't happen to see it, but I heard that Michael Jordan, when he was coming up in his career, it wasn't an easy street. He actually didn't make like the JV or the varsity basketball team, and he was crushed. And I think like he stayed in his room for like 12 days. Well, all of this stuff, right? And it was told to me during his Hall of Fame speech, you know who he mentioned? Yes, thank the mom, family, his dad, and all of this stuff, right? But you know who he mentioned? He mentioned the name of the coach that didn't give him a spot on that JV team or varsity team. He was still holding that chip on his shoulder. And it's probably still there to this day. The billionaire that he is, right? He's still holding that chip on his shoulder. And why do I say this? I say this because, like, you have to have a chip on your shoulder. It's almost like you have to experience some trauma to really have the gas or the fuel to do what you have to do and become that subject matter expert. So I know right now it's a really hard time, but you know what? It's going to be okay. And this coming up Wednesday with Leslie, we're going to be diving into revenue cycle entrepreneurship because she's an entrepreneur, right? And I can guarantee you, when she first started within this space, she wasn't thinking about running her own company, or she probably didn't even see the gap or the space or the opportunity to run her own company. So I'm going to be diving into that with her. I know a lot of folks, let's say they're coding and they want to be like a 1099, or maybe they have to be a 1099 for certain opportunities. What's the next level after 1099? The next level after 1099 is for you to possibly run your own agency or company, and growing and scaling that. That's another big challenge to do that, because just because you can do coding, recruiting, or something like that very well, our companies are going to come to you and trust. If Bertram's not doing the recruiting, who's doing the recruiting? And you know what? Just give us the candidates anyway. It's a really hard transition, but if you are able to master it and have the right processes and team members in place, you can go to the moon, right? And that's what we did way back when. So I'm looking forward to it. I really appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of our company's growth, being part of the roundups, being part of these live streams, John, Pam, and just people that like reach out to us and invite us to certain different kinds of things that we can be a part of and provide as much value as we can to the audience. And it's crazy. Another inspirational moment for a lot of you. A lot of things changed in my business when we were not just thinking about what we needed and we just focus on the audience. And that's something that I've always wanted to do, but it's almost like funny. Like if you feed, let's say 5,000 people, then you may have 5,000 homes or possible homes that will feed you or clothe you or keep you warm if you happen to run out of something. But what happens? We are usually at the crossroads of, I don't have enough resources to feed 5,000. So what does the book say? The book says that we should just feed with what we have until it runs out, right? And once I realized, even though I was hungry, I can feed people and provide people with what I know or the connections that I know, that's when everything started to blow up. And it blowing up has allowed me to provide more investment, reach out to more people, and actually help other people and their businesses blow up. Like some of the speakers that have been on the roundup, they connected with me afterwards and said, Bertram, I haven't posted anything on LinkedIn. I'm like, what's happening? What's going on? I'm so busy. Ever since I was on the roundup, like things are just crazy. And I'm like, that's great. But remember what got you there. I'm not saying the roundup did everything. You probably had a lot of momentum going up to the roundup. Fantastic. But remember what got you there in you serving and offering advice and just sharing your story. Sharing your story is the greatest thing I've realized, because it's you, it's authentic, and people also can relate to your authenticity. People, oh well, had a newborn, and something didn't work out with the parents, so I had to like do this, I had to do this. When you say that, people relate to that. Yep, I've been there. Yep, my sister had that. Yep, my brother went through that situation. And then there's your audience. And what do you think your clients are likely to come? Your future employees, or even your referrals, or you're walking through a show and all these people are waiting to see you, or lining up, or whatever. Why? Because of your story and because of who you are. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to get on camera, and don't be afraid, even though you're hungry, to provide what you have to those who are also in need. I think, and I've known, if we actually can solve our own problems, the world will not have any problems. But also, if we can also help others be able to solve their own problems, can you just imagine the type of world that we will live in? So this is Bertram at Renown Talent. I gotta go. I got a bunch of things to do, but I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm gonna go through the chat and make sure I didn't happen to miss you. But if you can, I'd love to see you this Wednesday at noon, and just keep it going. And remember, be renowned or be forgotten, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.